for that will be given by Bobbie. Let me give a brief introduction about Bobbie's advocacy. Bobbie is the Pennsylvania ambassador for the American Association of Kidney Patients. She's active with the Patient-Centered Outcomes Research Institute as the Pennsylvania ambassador and is active with National Quality Forum in Washington, D.C. She worked with the Society to Improve Diagnosis in Medicine as a patient research partner on the PCORI-funded research project called Patients Improving Research in Diagnosis in Medicine. And as part of NKF's Kidney Advocacy Committee, Bobbie is not only the Pennsylvania liaison, but is the immediate past Region 2 leader for the group. She's also an ambassador of American Kidney Fund and has been featured as the top ambassador. She has traveled to Washington on multiple occasions for advocating to legislators on improvements in kidney disease care. And recently, by the National Kidney Foundation, Bobbie was given the Richard Salick Award. It is the highest honor given to one individual by NKF for their efforts in advocacy to kidney patients annually. She also was presented with the US Presidential Volunteerism Award, bronze level, for contributing more than 100 hours of volunteer service within the kidney community. In fact, President Joe Biden sent her a medal certificated with a signed letter. It is an honor, Bobbie, to have you be part of Kidney Stories Toastmasters and to have you present here to everyone on all the available resources that one can look out for when they are faced with kidney disease. Bobbie, on to you. I will share the handout that you have prepared for everyone in the chat while you give your presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Today, I'd like to talk to you about key components of advocacy and how these components and this advocacy has benefited my son in our journey with kidney disease and his needing dialysis and having had 2 transplants already. And from that, just by connecting the dots and the networking, the relationships that you gain and bring into your own personal experience that you can rely on into the future. But I, as an advocate, because of the man who gave my son a kidney, the living donor, you don't pay somebody for giving you a kidney. It's my way of giving back and paying it back to everybody else by advocating and helping others. And through my efforts in networking and finding these resources, many, many people have benefited by that. So I want to go over this in different sections, and you'll see this on the form that she's putting in, the flyer that she's putting in the chat. I suggest, you maybe make a copy of it because there's links on there to everything that I'm talking about here, where you can also grow your network and establish those new connections to benefit you and also others that you might know or deal with. The first section I want to talk about is the kidney organizations. As you've heard Shobha mention, I participate in multiple groups. Right now, I am the vice president of membership for our Kidney Stories Toastmasters group. And while I have you on the call here, I'd like to really suggest to you, anybody is welcome at any time to come and attend one of our meetings and find out what it's all about. And if you're interested in maybe becoming a member, I'm the person you want to go to, and I can send you the information and enlighten you on that. But there is no charge just to initially attend the meetings and find out if it's for you. And I think that you'll find value in that there's many, many people, not only from here in the United States, but all over the world, who contribute information to that and share ideas back and forth. Not only that, they help you become a better speaker and presenter. If you have to go and ask somebody to maybe be a kidney donor, how you go about doing it, they give you pointers and give you the ideas and tools to work with that. As you mentioned too, the National Kidney Foundation. The National Kidney Foundation, she mentioned earlier, Shobha mentioned that I wrote a marketing plan to find my child a kidney. He was just graduated from college in 2013, and his kidneys failed due to high blood pressure. To this day, they don't know what caused the high blood pressure. But As a result of that happening and being told that, we're going to have to look for a living donor, I wrote a sales and marketing plan on selling somebody on giving my kid a kidney, and it worked. And as a result of it working, the National Kidney Foundation took note of that. They flew me to New York and they filmed me and talking about my plan. And later, that plan was taken and put into what is known today as the Big Ask, Big Give. And I'm really proud of that because lots and lots, hundreds of people have followed my marketing plan and were able to successfully find living donors to support them in their kidney journeys. In addition to that, the National Kidney Foundation, along with these other organizations that I'm going to speak about next, they offer the ability to have you become an advocate for them or work with them. And there are benefits to being an advocate in that you have resources of all the other advocates all over the country that you can exchange ideas with. They meet monthly or bi-monthly to find out what's going on in the kidney space and what the National Kidney Foundation, for example, was focusing on. So you can find that as a resource. The reason why I put the National Kidney Foundation link in here is so that you can go there and find out about advocacy and even find out what other resources that they do offer to you. The American Association of Kidney Patients, AAKP, is the next organization I'd like to talk about. I am an ambassador for them, and they provide information that pertains strictly to the patient and caregiver. This organization has been in existence over 50 years, and they are committed solely. They don't do anything unless it relates directly back to the patient. So it's not like a lot of gibberish back and forth. They're very supportive of the patients. As a matter of fact, in the first week of September, in September, they are having the last week of September they are having their national patient meeting annually. They have that. It's going to be in Orlando this year. You might want to go to their website and look that up on there when that national patient meeting is, because I've attended it before and so many resources come out. They have excellent speakers, excellent presenters, and they even have like a forum or a hall where you can go to and talk to different exhibitors on resources of what they have to offer in the way for kidney patients. Another thing too that the American Association of Kidney Patients has is they have excellent recipe cards. I really promote this all the time, and they have it on their site. You can go and look it up as resources that they have, but they're packets of recipe cards geared towards whatever stage that you might happen to be in with kidney disease. For example, if you're pre-dialysis, dialysis, maybe you're a diabetic, or maybe you've had a transplant already. They have the recipes coded in such a way the dietitians have rated it whether that particular recipe would be suitable for you. So many people give negative feedback to the kidney diet, but this is something that you could use as a tool and as a resource. And they're very, very inexpensive. I highly recommend that you check that out. The American Kidney Fund is another organization that I'm an ambassador for. And one of the really neat things that practically everybody doesn't know about is that they can provide financial support to both kidney patients for paying their insurance premiums, and also people who might want to donate a kidney to somebody but don't have the financial means to be able to go and do that. Obviously it's based on income and what your needs are, but I believe that they can provide up to $6,000 for people to help you in getting your kidney transplant. Or if you don't have money to pay for your insurance premium so that you can maintain insurance, they will pay the insurance premiums for you. So this is really an organization you'd want to look at to see what resources that they have to offer. They also have an ambassador program, which I'm a part of. You can find out information all about that right from their website. And all of these organizations, from time to time, they do offer special webinars to cover a particular subject matter. And it's by joining these organizations or becoming a member, which is no charge, there's no money at all involved, they can put you in their loop to notify you when they have an upcoming seminar or webinar coming up that you might want to partake in. Polycystic Kidney Disease Foundation is another group that is dedicated to a particular aspect or a particular part of kidney disease. It's hereditary and genetic. I put that on there because I think that many people might have this disease and not know where to turn. And this is a good resource for you to go to. We've heard a lot today in conversations about support groups. And if you'll see in the next section here, I've listed several support groups. The Virtual Dialysis Support Center, which is run by Dr. Jean Wright out of Detroit, but it's virtual. It's all by way of Zoom. And they have meetings on occasion. They've taken a pause here for the summer, but I think they'll be starting up again in the fall. It's worth looking into because it's one-on-one. They have one session for caregivers, and then they have another time during the month for the patients. And they usually have a good topic and they have support to run the program. It's a great access or point to go for on dialysis. Kidney Solutions is a wonderful organization as well. I use them for my son. They helped me in developing a flyer that I could distribute to different organizations and people about Alex's need to finding a living donor, to finding a donor. And they not only support donors, but they also support patients. And they educate donors and patients on the process of donating or receiving a transplant. They even talk about dialysis, and the pitfalls that you face or the blocks that you face. They meet weekly on a Monday evening, and people come on there and they pose their questions and concerns to the moderator. And then they get feedback not only from the moderator of the group, which is Kent Bressler, who is a 37-year recipient of a kidney transplant. And he's also a registered nurse with a master's degree. So he, is in the know. It's reliable information that you get there. I highly suggest that you go to the link there and maybe sign up and ask him to send you a link to attend one of his weekly meetings. And I guarantee you, once you do, you'll definitely come back. As far as the next one on our list, Kindness for Kidneys, and the next one is Transplant Caregiver Support Group. These are groups also here for people who need information or help within their kidney journeys. They are all virtual. It's not like you have to be there, but go to those organizations and check out to see what they're talking about and maybe attend one of their meetings. They're at different times and they send you a link if you request it. The next thing that I'd like to talk about is the AAKP maintains a master listing for support groups. And if you go on their website, I believe there's a link on there, and it's updated regularly because they come to me every year and say, in your local area, Bobbie, what are some of the support groups and when do they meet and what's the contact information? And they update it so it's valid information. You might want to check that out to see if maybe there is a support group right down the road from where you live. It's a great resource to have there. The next part I want to talk about is social media. I'm very active on social media. I can put in here, again, my contact information, and you can see on my Facebook or my pages that I have on Twitter and on the LinkedIn platform. It lists every single reference of things that I have been involved in with reference to kidney disease. I not only recommend that you check out my links, but you guys make an effort to do that on your own too. Have those things on there and put information out there that you're looking for if you're looking for information. Within Facebook, it's worth mentioning too that they do have multiple groups dealing with all different types of kidney disease issues and dialysis. You just have to type the name of the thing that you're looking in and it'll pop up a listing of what groups are there. The information that you find on there, I'm not saying that it's perfectly valid or, right to the point true, but you know what? I use that as a tool and I connect the dots on that. And it gives me a basis that when we go to talk to my son's doctors, and I also advocate and help my mother who has a diabetic-induced kidney disease, to ask the doctors questions that might be posed on there, or things that I'm concerned about, to get realistic and valid answers. So you can use social media as a tool to help you. And it's definitely worth mentioning. In terms of educational resources, I'm an active participant and advocate for CORE, which is the Center for Organ Recovery and Education. And they do offer at informational tables and so forth at health fairs and events about becoming a donor, or registering to be an organ donor. They're very helpful. These are the people, it's like the organ procurement organization. They're the people that go into the hospitals when somebody is, potentially passing away, and they need to talk to the families about becoming an organ donor. So they are connected, and they're very receptive and understanding of the fact of kidney disease and organ donation. So I would highly recommend, if you're not an organ donor already or registered to be an organ donor, or your friends aren't, give them this link, and then they can go and register to become an organ donor. Other information, we already heard a little bit about the Big Ask Big Give. I put a link in the flyer here regarding the Big Ask Big Give that you can go and check on that. You can follow the marketing plan or the program either online, virtually, but you know what? Many locations across the entire country, depending upon where your National Kidney Foundation's local offices are, they will run this program locally, where you and your care partner can go and learn it in person as well. So it's definitely a link worth checking out and looking into. Another resource that I found to be helpful is you need to review or think about the resources that are there for your social worker at your dialysis center, a kidney educator. Another example that we've heard previously, if you go on to the DaVita or the dialysis company websites, they have a multitude of resources for dialysis patients in terms of like diet and tips on doing dialysis and different things like that. So I think that it's worth mentioning and taking a look at. The National Institute of Diabetes and Digestive and Kidney Disease is an organization that advocates and sets out guidelines and gets funding. They advocate for more funding for kidney research and for helping kidney patients. I think that you'll find a lot of information on their site as well, because it's part of our government. It's funded by our taxes. It's worth taking a look into to see what's happening in the kidney dialysis or kidney disease space. And Home Dialysis Central is also another, it's an online group, and they put out a weekly newsletter to people that have resources in it. They talk about a particular topic every week. It's like helpful hints to navigate your way through home dialysis and doing dialysis, and pointers and tips. Under research opportunities, I put down Patient-Centered Research Institute, Outcomes Institute. What they do, PCORI, I'm an ambassador for them, and they do not only research for kidney disease, they fund these projects, but they do for every aspect of every disease. And one of the interesting things that I found about PCORI, having participated with them, is right on their website, you can go and do a search for kidney disease research that's ongoing, and potentially find out if it's ongoing and it's open to other participants. Maybe you might fit the bill for that, and you can sign up and make an inquiry to contribute to research, because you as the kidney patient are the one that's going to make the difference. And another thing too worth mentioning is those kidney organizations I mentioned at first, by becoming a member or signing up for their mail list, whenever there's a research opportunity that is introduced within the kidney space, they will send you a notice and say, do you know anybody out there that has this particular thing? So-and-so is searching for this. And if you're qualified for it, you can participate in research, not only potentially helping yourself, but many others affected with kidney disease. And I might want to add, both with PCORI and the kidney organizations, whenever you contribute to research, many of those projects, you're compensated for your time. So it's not like you're going to be giving away all your time at no charge, but they have like per diems that they would pay to people who opt to participate. And the last column or the last section here that I'd like to talk about is dealing with your legislators. First of all, it's really important to be a registered voter. And I'm sure we've heard that over and over again about being a registered donor. You should really get to know the legislators, both local, state, and federal, because whenever issues come up impacting kidney disease, if you have a relationship with them, or when you have a relationship, you can go to them and ask them for help and support, and ask them to go and vote on legislation or introduce legislation, so to speak, that would help benefit you for a cause. And if you don't act in that regard, chances are they'll never know. So you're one of their constituents. They're obliged to listen to you. And when people bring it to their attention, it tells them, gee, this concerns some of my constituents here. Maybe I ought to take a deeper look at this. And they do. And they can really impact and make a difference to others. And it's really important to do that and to know that information. Another resource too, just so you know, I learned this through my efforts. I went to a nonprofit meeting at one point at our Chamber of Commerce, and they had the legislators speaking there. And did you know that every legislative office hires a constituent person in health? And they keep a database of resources for people or constituents, that when they have a problem, rather than having to be an expert in every field or every category of everything, they go to that reference list and they provide resources to kidney patients. For example, I talked about the American Kidney Fund and them providing financial assistance. Well, I gave my legislators one-pagers on each one of the kidney organizations and what they can do and how they can benefit people or constituents in their area. And many constituents have benefited by having this resource in place, because it makes it very easy for you to work in conjunction with your legislators. So keep that in mind. If you have a question and you need it answered, that might be a good place to go to see if there are resources in your local area of people that can help you. So in conclusion, I would like to say that what I do is I connect all the dots. And in doing so, I develop a list of people or contacts and references. And one of the most important things that I think that I've learned by doing this is I keep a record of everything. I write everything down, and I have it stored in my computer in a file, so that if I ever need it or I need to use it as a resource, I can go back to it. So if I had to leave you with one tip, that would be, rather than having a problem or an issue circulate in your brain, when you find out or when you connect the dots and you find a resource, write it down and keep a record of it. Then that way, who knows, you might cross somebody's path who's having a similar experience, and you'll know what to do and how to advise them. And that'll make you a top-notch advocate. And I hope that I've impressed you a little bit here, that we can see in the future, when I'm advocating out there doing different things, that maybe our paths will cross. Don't hesitate to come up and contact me. I really appreciate that. And I'm going, like I said, I will put my information in the comments here again, that you can definitely get in touch with me, friend, and follow me. Thank you, everybody, for your attention today. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Bobbie. That was wonderful, and a wealth of knowledge for everyone. And as I said even before, this was the last session, but I think it was the most important session that we had for this whole day. With that,